Welcome back, Scrub Squad, Galactic Army. It's me, Master of Galaxy Eyes, and today I'm bringing you guys a Magician Girl deck profile. I really hope you guys enjoy the video. If you do, make sure you click that subscribe button, and without any further introduction, how about we just get back into what you came here for? Let's get right into it. The first card to start off your Magician Girl lineup is obviously the main card of the deck, Dark Magician Girl. Now, this is the first Magician Girl monster, obviously, but her effect isn't useful really in the deck. She's basically there as, the cover card. And she is also the strongest Magician Girl out of all your monsters. And so, for the monster you're going to be going for with the most attack, it's going to be her. Onto one of the starter cards of the deck, we have Berry Magician Girl. Berry Magician Girl is really great because when she's normal summoned, you get to add a Magician Girl monster from your deck to your hand. And then when she's targeted for an attack or by a card effect, you get to special summon a Magician Girl monster from your deck. Really great consistency, adds to the searching ability of your deck and just helps you thin it out, make it faster, get your monsters. Everything you need is right here in one card. Berry Magician Girl, absolutely need to run her at 3. Next off, another great card, we have Lemon Magician Girl. Lemon Magician Girl is really great because you can tribute another Magician Girl monster except Lemon Magician Girl and add a Spellcaster monster from your deck to your hand. Also really helps thin out your deck. It's a little bit weaker than Berry, but it's still nice. That's why we run her at 2. And then, when she's targeting for an attack, you're able to special summon a Spellcaster monster from your hand. It switches the attack target to it and cuts the monster that was attacking attack in half. And so since your Magician Girl monsters aren't too strong, this is the way they try to get around that, by making the opponent attack into them and then weakening the opponent. Really great. I love Lemon Magician Girl, but you can only run her at 2, sadly. Don't run her at 3. Next off in the deck, we run 2 copies of Apple Magician Girl. Apple Magician Girl is really great because she has the same effect as Lemon, however, a little bit different. You're only able to special summon level 5 or lower spellcaster monsters from your hand. Now, I know that may seem bad, however, you're still able to summon Berry, Lemon, another Apple, Chocolate, or Kiwi. All of them have really good effects, and obviously, because they're switching the attack target to those other Magician Girls, they could have effects go off that special summon other spellcaster monsters from your hand, or from your graveyard even, or from your deck. It's really great. Apple Magician Girl is a super amazing card, and when she's destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you get 3 other Magician Girl monsters in your graveyard back to your hand. So she's great recovery for the deck and just adds more monsters back to your hand. Really nice. You gotta run Apple at 2. Can't run her at 3, a little bit too cloggy, just kind of like Lemon, but still really good card to run at 2. Next off, we have a really great card. Here we have 3 copies of Chocolate Magician Girl. She has an amazing bonus effect that none of the other Magician Girls have, that you can discard a spellcaster type monster and draw a card. This really helps you get to the important cards of your deck, really helps you thin through your deck so that you draw into those important cards a lot more, and she has the same effect that all Magician Girls have, that when she's targeted for attack, hers is a little different. You're able to special summon a spellcaster monster from your graveyard. Really nice because you can discard potentially something like a Kiwi or a Berry or your Dark Magician Girl, and when she's targeting for an attack, if your opponent doesn't read the card effects, special summons a Dark Magician Girl or any other spellcaster that you discard. Really nice. Gotta love Chocolate. Gotta play her at 3. She's super amazing. Next off, we run the final Magician Girl, and she's really great. You play 3 copies of Kiwi Magician Girl because she is super amazing. Because you're able to just discard her from your hand, and then all Magician Girl monsters on the field gain 300 attack and defense for every Magician Girl monster on the field and in the graveyard with different names. That is such a huge attack boost for the deck. And she has an extra effect of when she's on the field, your spellcaster monsters can be targeted or be destroyed by card effects. That is absolutely insane. So if you're able to discard her off of Chocolate and summon her back later, or even just discard her off her own effect and summon her back with Chocolate, or Monster Reborn, which you play in the deck, it's really great. As an added source of protection, absolutely love her. Gotta play 3 copies of Kiwi Magician Girl. Lastly, to round up the monster lineup, we run 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring and 2 Effect Veiler. I mean, there's really not much I can say about this. This deck really, really needs the help. And since your monsters are really weak, you don't want your opponent to try to get their effects off. So you gotta try to do what you can. So that's why you play 3 Ash Blossom and 2 Effect Veilers. And now because they're so easy to get, you can obviously go pick up your 3 copies with the Salamangreat Structure deck. Absolutely amazing. You gotta have 3 copies of Ash Blossom, 2 copies of Effect Veiler, and this deck is good to go. On to the spell cards, we got Secret Village of the Spellcasters. Secret Village of the Spellcasters is super great because while you control the spellcaster, your opponent can't activate spell cards. That is absolutely insane. Being able to stop your opponent from activating their powerful spell cards, it's super busted. And then we run 1 copy of Secret Sanctuary of the Spellcasters as an added bonus, because when a monster besides a spellcaster is normal or special summoned, it has its effects negated. That's absolutely insane. Being able to negate any monsters when it's normal or special summoned, so being able to lock your opponent potentially out of spells and their monsters' effects, absolutely insane. And then for the Secret Village, we run 1 Terraforming. That's what I run. If you have 3 copies of Secret Village of the Spellcasters, I would definitely run it. Maybe replace the Terraforming with it, but that's up to you if you have it. This is what I'm running right now. I don't have 3 copies of Secret Village. That's why I'm running the Terraforming. Just to clear that up. Now onto the amazing spells that you're going to be using to thin through your deck. The first one being Spellbook of Knowledge. Spellbook of Knowledge says that you can send a spellcaster monster you control to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. That's absolutely insane. Maybe possibly being able to use Chocolate's effect, get a spellcaster in the graveyard, draw a card, and then being able to use this to draw 2 more cards. It's absolutely insane. You run 3 copies of Spellbook of Knowledge. On to the next powerful spell, we are running 3 copies of Pot of Desires. Now I know Pot of Desires may seem a little scary to some of you, banishing 10 cards from your deck, but more than likely you're not going to be banishing all of your copies of Berry or Chocolate or Kiwi or your Spellbook of Knowledge. You're probably going to be drawing into those cards to help you advance your plays. So running 3 Pot of Desires shouldn't be a problem, it shouldn't be scary. You got to run 3 pots, why not? Next off, the final powerful spell we are using to draw through the deck is 2 copies of Card of Demise. Since you're not going to be special summoning too much in this deck on your turn, Card of Demise doesn't really hurt you too much. And just being able to get more cards in your hand and potentially more cards in your graveyard for something like Kiwi Magician Girl, if you don't happen to have her in your hand when you activate Card of Demise, then guess what? Even better. So run 2 copies of Card of Demise just because it is a great card to have in the deck, and just being able to search more cards thin through your deck, super great. Next off, we get into some of your more powerful spell cards. We got 2 copies of Twin Twisters. Twin Twisters is super great because if you're going up against that Altergeist matchup or your Sky Striker matchup, being able to get rid of your opponent's back row if they happen to go first, super great because you really don't want your opponent to have that many cards on you because you're not going to be able to really go against them too much. And so having 2 copies of Twin Twisters, super great just to get rid of those potential problematic cards on the field. Next off, we run 1 copy of Raigeki. I don't think there's much to say about this. It destroys your opponent's entire field. What more could you want from a card? And then finally, we run 1 copy of Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn, obviously another self-explanatory card. You want to be able to get your cards back. And so let's say off of Card of Demise, you set your Monster Reborn, you activate your Card of Demise, draw your cards, and you happen to draw a Kiwi, or a Chocolate, or a Berry. It doesn't matter. You happen to draw one of those cards and you already committed your normal summon, and so it's just like, oh no, I'm going to lose this card. Not to worry, you got Monster Reborn, you're going to be getting that card back. No problem. You got to run Monster Reborn. Next off in the deck, we have the traps, and the traps is what really makes this deck great, because you're able to try to stop your opponent from overpowering you, and that's obviously what the deck wants to try to do. So we run 2 copies of Rivalry of Warlords, and this card states that each player can only control 1 type of monster. So let's say you're going up against a matchup, let's say you're playing against Goukis. You're playing against Goukis, they have Warriors, and if they're playing the Nightmare build, then they have the nightmares, and those are fiend type. So if they going through their combo, going through their plays, they eventually make one of the nightmare link monsters, which is a fiend type. If you have rivalry on the field, then guess what? Your opponent can't advance their plays because they're not able to summon back their Goukis. And most of their main deck, if you haven't noticed, is warriors. And so Rivalry of Warlords can just kind of shut Goukis down. A really great card. If they have no way to get around it, you're safe and sound. The next trap we run in the deck, we run 2 copies of Evenly Matched. Evenly Matched is a great card because it says that if your opponent controls more cards than you do at the end of the battle phase, they have to banish all cards they control on their field until they control the same amount of cards as you. And if you have no cards on your field when you activate this card, you can do it from your hand. That's absolutely insane. And then possibly being able to set up your deck, you know, with maybe a rivalry on field, Secret Village, Secret Sanctuary, along with maybe a berry or a chocolate, anything like that. It's absolutely insane. Gotta play 2 copies of Evenly Matched. You can pick up your copies in the Megatin. That's how I got mine. But anyway, that's what you gotta do. 2 copies of Evenly Matched. Really nice. And then onto the final trap, we run 1 copy of Anti-Spell Fragrance. This is just kind of to go along with the Secret Village of the Spellcasters, mostly because it just says that your opponent has to set spell cards on the field before they can activate them, which is really nice. Kind of sucks for you a little bit too, but it doesn't hurt you too bad because you do have the Secret Village and you do have all these other cards that try to stop your opponent, meaning you can kind of afford to wait a little bit if you need to set your spells before activating them. So it doesn't really hurt too much. So run 1 copy of Anti-Spell Fragrance. Really nice trap card. Now, in this deck, we actually don't have an extra deck. I know that's kind of crazy, but hear me out on it. I wanted to keep this deck as fun as I could and as true to Magician Girls as I could. I didn't want to run any, extra deck monsters that I felt would kind of like make the deck a little less fun for me to play. So I decided to opt for not having an extra deck involved in this. However, I do have a side deck if you guys would like to see it. Right here, I have 3 copies of Dino Wrestler Prankertops. Really strong monster, being able to just special summon it for free if your opponent controls more cards than you do, and then being able to tribute itself off to destroy a card on the opponent's field. Really nice, and it will have more attack than Dark Magician Girl, so that's an added bonus. Next off, we run 1 copy of Twin Twisters in the side deck just to complete your playset, in case you really need it. I run 3 copies of Cosmic Cyclone. Again, just kind of go with the Twin Twisters, except this one banishes the card. So in case that card is really problematic and your opponent's able to recycle it, and you really need to get rid of it, Cosmic Cyclone's there to save you. Run 2 copies of Royal Decree. Royal Decree shuts down all traps on the field, and so more than likely if you're siding in this card, you're going to be siding out your other trap cards. Because obviously you don't want those to be shut down. This is more so for the Altergeist matchup along with the Cosmic Cyclones and the Twin Twisters. And then finally, for the last trap we run in the deck is There Can Only Be One. Now this card, it can be a little bit of a problem if you need to put it in, because obviously you want to try to have more Magician Girl monsters on the field. However, just in case that matchup comes along that you really need it, running There Can Only Be One is pretty decent side deck card, I feel. So I decided to run it. Obviously, you can replace it with whatever side deck tech cards that you have and choose to run in your decks. This is just what I'm choosing to be mine. And if you guys wanted to maybe just side in these cards for your Magician Girl decks that you'd be building after this, then that's cool with me.
What's up, Scrub Squad? It's me, filming a new ending because the original one got corrupted. But thank you so much for watching the video. If you want to see more from the Scrub Squad, make sure you click the videos at the top or bottom. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you want to see more of me, make sure you check out my personal channel. I'll be editing videos there soon. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.